It's Weedy Weekend, number 83. Number 83, but that's not the biggest number of today. The biggest number of today, my dear friends, this is video number 1000. Yeah, I've been online for 3 or 4 years. First couple of years, barely posted. And the last couple of years, it's been huge. And I'm growing. And I like that. I like that. All 1,500, almost 1,600 of you following me. It makes my day. It makes my week. It makes my year. So, Weedy Weekend, number 83, starting with a sad note. This last week saw the passing of Franco, the strain hunter. I will attach a picture of him below in the first link. And this is a statement from him. This is something he said. Cannabis is my passion, my bread, my home. I feel it is my duty to make this amazing plant, to make sure this amazing plant is preserved and enjoyed. I am a smoker, a grower, a breeder, and a strain hunter for life. And he did. And in fact, it was his strain hunting that took him down. For us, for this plant, for all of us, he lost his life. He got malaria, and that was from his duties. You know, he was willing to put his life on the line for us. I'm touched. I'm tearing up because I've watched a lot of the strain hunters, and I love what they do. And what they do is not an easy thing. They're going into very difficult places, could be put in jail for things, trying to find those landrace, trying to preserve the integrity of the way the plant was and the way it should always be. Peace and cheers and love and harmony. May he rest in peace. Let's move on. Let's move on because I haven't done Weedy Weekend. Sunday was Christmas. Sunday was New Year's. So it's been 3 weeks since my last one. The next story. Cannabis is going to be a medicine in the UK, with a disclaimer on that. You know, when I first shared it, I said, Yahoo, the UK is finally looking at this. However, the UK has taken the easy way out. The UK is looking and saying, well, CBD is non-psychoactive and does a lot medically. So we'll legalize that and leave the rest illegal. I mean, it's a start. Let me read what they say. The compounds lack, and they're talking about CBD, of a high makes it less appealing to recreational users, but of particular interest to the medical community, with campaigners claiming it aids in easing pain related to diseases including cancer, depression, Crohn's disease, and post-traumatic stress disorder. Yes, CBD helps with those. CBD with THC helps even more. I've said this all along, although I'm not against baby steps if the baby steps suggest further steps and a growth of steps and bigger steps to come. If baby steps are being done and like here they're just refusing to talk about THC at all, I would be worried. Because, first of all, CBD does not work as well as it can without THC present. So if CBD is a wonder drug, then it's a better wonder drug when you get the right amount of THC in as well. This goes on to talk about how if it works for epilepsy, which it's already been proved to, but certain epileptic strains have been found to, although respond to CBD, respond much better to a CBD, a high CBD, with a high THC component. So a great step forward. Power to you. But UK, keep your MPs honest. Force them to read more about the plant and less about the stigma. And they'll learn about the entourage effect. And maybe the UK can go the way of Canada. But my next story warns you about the way Canada is going. It's not good. Canada has not done well. Let's move on. Let's first, I meant to do this. I want to, everybody take a second and have a dab, have a smoke, have a bowlful, do something to say cheers to Franco the strain hunter. Let's all cheers to him. Peace and cheers. And yes, my dear friends, I do have now an e-nail again, and I will show it to you just quickly, and maybe I'll do a video on it some other time. But there's my Shatterbox, made with my logo and with MMJ THC's logo, because I love that company and the people involved in it. Probably the best company I've ever been involved in, so of course they're part of my products. Let's go on from that. Now, as I said, I was going to segue into this. Canadian difficulties with Canadian current situations. The first one, I tried to find stories on it. I only found Herbal Dispatch, which is a dispensary out of Vancouver, tweeting, and I'll put it below, tweeting that Canada Post has been seizing some of their products that are going to patients. Seizing medical stuff. I can't find more about it. If Canada Post is seizing dispensaries' items because dispensaries are gray, then Canada Post is breaking our rights and should be sued. Should be sued. Let me turn the volume down on this. Why do I say that? Because even though Health Canada has not legalized the dispensary, R.V. Smith, the Supreme Court of Canada, ruled in R.V. Smith that all forms of the medicine, shatter, edibles, oils, tinctures, all forms are medicine, and as medicine are our right to have. Health Canada has not provided all forms. So how do we get them? We get them from the gray market. We as a patient are told by that ruling are allowed to possess them. Health Canada has not given us a legal structure through which to get them. So we have to put our... So a bunch of companies out there put themselves at risk and at risk of closure to provide us with that medicine. But once it's left their company and we've paid for it, we are the patient. That's our medicine. Canada Post interrupting it is stopping somebody worse than me. You know, I'm dealing right now through my dispensary with somebody who has 3 to 5 months to live, and we're trying to change that. But with good medicine, sometimes you just never know. So if that person's medicine got interrupted, you're interrupting the last part of someone's life. This is not the way for our government to act in hurting the end user. They need to correct the structures they have in front of them. The structures they have are pushing people towards gray and black markets. So it isn't go out there and get all those people and put them in jail, because there's thousands of us. It's time to rebuild the structures. And that's my say on that. I'm not even going to have a talk with that. That's my say on that. I'm going to move on to more of what's happening in the Canadian cannabis industry, because Health Canada has said that the only safe and proper way is to get it through our licensed producers, the LPs. Well, the next story I share below, and there's a couple of them, go to prove that Health Canada is not protecting our health. Maybe they're protecting some company. I don't know. I can't infer upon them what their methods are leading to, but it looks more like profit than looking after the people. Because not only did a couple of LPs get caught selling marijuana, cannabis, medicine with banned substances, banned pesticides, but Health Canada did not, as they should do, put out huge statements and fix the situation. They tried to hide it. So again, broken structures, broken systems, and broken methodology. This kind of proves that they were wrong, that the LP is the right way to go, because they used to say it was the dispensaries that are at the highest risk of a bad product, when the only bad product in the last bunch of years has come out of the LPs, and they were hiding it. And I'm going to quote something that I said when I shared this in Google this week. Note that one of these LPs issued the recall for their product that was sold over 5 months ago, with the current limits that we're only allowed so many grams per day, and thereby only allowed to possess 30 days worth. A recall from 5 months ago, there is nobody going to still have that product. It has been consumed, and it is dangerous. There should be huge lawsuits about this, that these LPs have put out poisonous medicine. There are 2 articles. Canadians not told about the banned pesticide found in medical pot supply. That's another one. And I'm quoting now from the article. But the lack of public disclosure by Health Canada raises new questions about what controls are in place to ensure the product is free of contaminants and chemicals, particularly as the government prepares to introduce legislation to legalize it next year. So if they can't protect its safety to the public through the LPs, then they have to look at, maybe the LPs is a broken system, or maybe they need to have more stringent controls which would squeeze the supply down, but therefore open up storefronts and open up that supply, open up more businesses, more people. And yes, make them go through and make sure that nothing that gets to the public has contaminants on it. That shouldn't happen. It isn't happening in dispensaries. We find out it's happening with the LPs. Dangerous, dangerous, dangerous. Talk to your MPs, Canadians, and any other country, US, Australia, UK just preparing. Take these things not with a grain of salt, but with a huge caveat that there are difficult roads ahead, and the simple thing isn't make it 100% legal. That isn't the simple thing, because then people do get sick. We are in a society where we do have to have controls over medication to make sure that the medication that gets to the sick person doesn't make them sick in another way. Shame on you, Health Canada. Shame on you, Metrum and Organogram, the 2 that got in trouble for this. There may be more. We don't know how much Health Canada is hiding from us. Let's move on to the next story. The next story is one very interesting to me. It is that the Arthritis Society of Canada has just qualified another research firm, McGill University, with a 3-year study on the use of cannabis as a medicine for fibromyalgia. I personally immediately contacted these people to let them know that I might be willing to take part in this 3-year study. And there has been some correspondence back and forth, just because I think it's really important that we find there is a huge link between our cannabinoid receptors and what they do, and fibromyalgia as being broken cannabinoid systems. There's really synergy between those 2 things, and I'm so happy to see the Arthritis Society do this. And this is their 2nd medical cannabis research project. project in the past 18 months. Just 18 months ago, they awarded a similar 3-year grant to study the impact of medical cannabis on arthritis pain and disease management. So yay for the Arthritis Society coming forward and instituting some really good and strong medical programs that will prove the efficacy of this medicine. Way to go, Arthritis Society. That I will cheers to you with. And this time what I have is a little bit of, I have from MMJ THC, Predator Pink Old School Hash. Then I put it in a little screen and squished it and made some beautiful rosin out of it, which is very tasty. Predator Pink. Peace and cheers. Sweet and yummy. Low temp dabs. Next one. Last of my stories, then I have 2 101s. Big Pharma accused of illegal price fixing. What you're not being told. Now, yes, this is not about cannabis. This is about the opposite end. The one that all our politicians seem to have been pushing for the last 80 years. All our governments have said is the right way to keep our people healthy. Big Pharma has become such an ugly animal that we should take, I give this story because we should be stepping back from what Canada's doing with the LPs. With the LPs, they're creating big cannabis. Big Pharma, big cannabis. Big isn't the answer. Too big, monopoly, problem. This here, a lawsuit filed Thursday in the U.S. District Court for the District of Connecticut alleges Heritage Pharmaceuticals, EpiPen maker, Mylan NV, and others conspired to manipulate U.S. drug prices. And it goes on to talk about specific doxycycline, an antibiotic, and glyburide, a treatment for drug for diabetes, they were keeping the price artificially high between all pharmacies. Terrible, terrible. Price fixing on medicine, keeping medicine expensive, is unethical at best. I'm a sick person and I struggle so hard to be able to pay for my medicine while still being able to look after my child. And the medicine, sometimes there's half days, even almost all day I go without any medicine just to make my medicine stretch further because it's too expensive. Being healthy is one of our rights in Canada, and as a somewhat socialist nation, we look after the health of everybody, yet we ignore the cost of this medicine. So already marijuana is too expensive as a medicine. But Big Pharma's out there and keeping all the others artificially high too. How much of what we're paying is just artificial? 90%. That's all I'm going to say about that. Big Pharma sucks. Big Canada would suck as much. And it does. We're currently in that situation in Canada. There's only 4 or 5 of the 30 LPs that are big enough to truly be a part of the industry. The rest seem to be just wishy-washy, can barely carry product, and shouldn't be around. We're moving into the last 2 stories because this is a long weedy weekend. As I said, I've gone a couple of weeks without. The next one is something I just touched on. Why low temp dabbing is so important for dabbers. And I'll even say why we should move towards something like that. My Shatterbox that I shared with you, my e-nail, my temperature controlled nail, is not an expenditure, it is an investment. First of all, your medicine goes a lot further if you're controlling, keeping your temps low. I keep mine at 710. And Each nail is different. A low temp on my previous nail was 500, but on this one it's 710 because it's a quartz nail under a pancake instead of a coil that cupped a titanium nail. So the temperatures don't hold as well. You have to bump up the base. That's just something to learn. This talks about how you, it's two stories. It's about how to figure out how much of a dose you should take. And dosing is a difficult thing. And the other story is why put it at low temp. The reason for low temp is your terpenes burn at higher temps, and THC will burn away at higher temps. The lower a temp, you got to have it high enough that it boils and therefore vaporizes, but not too high that you actually cook it instead of boil it. You burn it instead of boil it. So knowing your nail, knowing your temps, and knowing your dosage, this is the safest way to go. And if you do as I do, and all my dabbing is rosin that I've made out of flour. Yeah, you can see one little hair stuck to it. I got a dog in the house. You have, it's therefore solventless. If you're doing that, you've got just an oil from a plant being vaporized, no combustibles, no nothing. You are not hurting your lungs and you're helping your body. It's the cleanest and safest way. Edibles may be just a tiny bit safer, takes a little longer. Some edibles take 2 hours to hit you. If you've got immediate pain, dab now, take a pill. Later the pain will go away, but you won't feel it in the interim, or feel it less. Pain management is what cannabis is all about. It isn't get rid of the pain, it's manage the pain, understand the pain, and know your pain. Because I can now that all pharmaceuticals are out of my body, I can, when I'm feeling pain, I can close my eyes and I can meditate and I can actually feel the exact spot of the pain and I can control it to some degree. I can relax the muscles all around it. I get such control over my body because I can. It's interesting and it's hard to explain. Maybe we can carry that in the comments, but as long as I'm high in CBD and got THC in me, when I have pain, not only does that help reduce the pain, it helps me contact the pain from brain to pain, and I'm able to modify it, let go of the tight muscles around it, tense them up if I need to, that kind of thing. More localized understanding and almost communication with that part of your body. Any of you ever felt that? Because I know I do it. I know I do it. I meditate a lot. One day I'll talk about meditation, because when I don't do it, that's when I start falling apart. We are at the end of Weedy Weekend number, what did I say? 83. Number 83. So I want to say peace and cheers, love and harmony, of course. But even more important, it's a new year. There's a lot of people out there struggling. I am one of them. But I'm facing it like a bull this year, and I'm going to get it done. Find those people without smiles and send them one of yours, because they may be struggling too. And just got no idea how much your guys' love and encouragement and saying that I'm helping you helps me. Not just do this, but live my life. It isn't all about cannabis. It's about the community that is built around this plant. Nobody has that around the pharmaceutical drug. This is a social medicine. Peace and cheers, love and harmony.